Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make a shirt with a Revere collar. So if this is what you are looking to learn, please stick to the end of the tutorial. And for our returning subscribers, thank you for always joining us. If you are joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us, and don't forget to click the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to get notified anytime we have a new tutorial. If you want to join my WhatsApp group, the link will be in the description box. So please stick to the end of the tutorial, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment if you have any question. Thank you, and let's get started. Okay, so to draft our for the cutting and the sewing of the shirt with a Revere collar, I'll be using this 𝐓𝐿 fabric as the fabric for the sewing. So here is the pattern paper we'll be using. So we'll be drafting the back bodice first. So we'll start from the drafting of the back bodice, and I've drawn out the outline. So this is the neck, the back line, the chest line, the bust, the waist, and this is the length of the shirt that I'm working with. So now we can go ahead and impute all of our measurements. So the back of the person is 16 divided by 2. Here we have 8 inches. I'll mark the same thing on the chest line, and I will mark the neck width we'll be working with, that is 3 inches. Step down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope, then connect it to the neck width. Okay, so now I'm going to be imputing my measurement. The bust I'm working with is 40 inches. 40 divided by 4, we have 10 inches, and because it's a free shirt, I'll be adding 1 inch as ease allowance. So this is the 1 inch as ease allowance. The waist is 33 inches, that's 8.25. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch as ease allowance. The hip is 44 inches, that's 11 inches. Then I'll be adding 1 inch as ease allowance. So then we'll go ahead and connect all the lines together. So this chest line, okay, so this is what I have after connecting all the lines together. So for our armhole now, we're going to divide the line into 2 inches, then step down by 1 and go in for the front, for the back by ½ inch. Since this is the back we are drafting first, then we'll connect our armhole. Okay, so the depth of the back neck that we are working with is going to be 1.25. Okay, so for the hem now, you can decide to leave the hem straight like this, or you can just decide to give it a little bit of curve, but I will be leaving mine to be a straight hem like this. So once we are done with this now, we can go ahead to cut out the back. Don't forget there is no allowance here, or so it's when we are cutting on the fabric that we'll be adding our allowance. So put this one aside now and go ahead to draft the front bodice. So for the back here, I've drawn out the outline. Now this space from the chest line, from the borderline of the pattern paper, I stepped down by 5 inches. So this place is going to be what we could be using to draft our collar, since it is a dry together collar. So this is where the collar is going to be. And also I stepped in by 4 inches to draw out this borderline. So this place is where we'll be doing the collar extension for the front and also our button allowance. So from here is where we'll be imputing all our measurements. So I have all the lines marked out already: the chest line, bust line, the waistline, and the length of the shirt. So now we can go ahead and impute the same thing. The only difference between the front and the back is the collar. So it's just the same measurement you use for the front is the same thing you'll be using for the back measurement also, that we use for the back measurement also. So you just impute your shoulder line, your chest line, and the neck width we'll be using also is 3 inches. So connect this one together, then you do your shoulder slope by 1 inch, connect it to the chest line, connect it to the neck width, and we measure our bust divided by 4, add 1 inch as the allowance, match the same thing on the chest line to connect the lines together, and also the waist now divided by 4, add 1 inch allowance, the hip divided by 4, add 1 inch is allowance. Okay, so now that we have this now, we can go ahead now to start the drafting of the collar. So you are going to be bringing the back bodies that we've drafted out. Is going to be deciding the length of our collar, the height of this collar extension we are doing here. So to mark the width of the neck collar, you just place, we've cut out the neck now, so you just place your tape like this and you mark it around the neckline. So here I have 3.5. So our extension for this up now is going to be 3.5. So put that in mind. Okay, so now for the extension here, we said we'll be using 3.5, and also the collar will be adding our zipper flap first, the zip allowance. So I'll be using 1 inch for my zip allowance. I'll be starting it from the neck width here. The neck depth is also 3 inches. So I'll mark the neck depth of 3 inches. So from this neck depth down, we are going to be marking 1 inch as our button allowance. Alright, so this is our button allowance. So once we have this now, we can go ahead to draw out our collar. Now the collar we are drafting is a Revere collar. So from this point now, this is where I want the breaking of the neck to be. So from this place, I'm going to connect it to the extending neckline here. So I'm just going to make the line from here up to this point here. Then I'm just going to extend it up. Don't forget, from the shoulder line we said the extension is going to be 3.5. so from this place, from our shoulder line now, I'm going to mark out 3.5, but I'll be using a pencil first. Just watch my hand. So I have the 3.5 here. So from this point now, I will step out by ½ inch. I'll step out by ½ inch. So this ½ inch is what I'll be connecting back to this neckline, so that to make the neckline relax, the collar to relax very well on the neck. So we just draw it back to the shoulder line. So once we have this now, then we can go ahead and mark out the width of our collar. So the width of the collar depends on you. We can use 3 inches, you can use 4, while we're using 3.5. It depends on how wide you want your collar to be. So when you want to draft out your collar, you just place it like this, like you are squaring the line, then you mark it out. So after marking it out, you determine how wide you want your collar to be. So I said mine to be 3.5, so my 3.5 stops here. Okay, so this is the width of my collar. So once we are done with that, you come to this point here. So from this point, you are going to be stepping out by 1 inch. So I'll be using a pencil. You step out from this point here, you step out by 1 inch, which stops here. So from that 1 inch again, you go down by another 1 inch. Just follow the step as I do it. So you go down by another 1 inch like this. So once you've stepped down by 1 inch now, so you're going to connect this place, this point here, you connect it to this point, then you blend it to this place. So you can use your curve roller to do that. So you just connect this point here to this place, then you blend it to Okay, so this is what this part will be looking like. So once you do this now, you step up from this point again, you step up by another 1 inch, then you connect it back to this point. So you connect it to this point. So from this point here, you are going to use your curve rule again to blend it to the collar here. Okay, so this is how the drafting of our Revere collar, this is what it's going to be looking like. Let's not forget our armhole. You divide whatever you have here, divide it by 2, then step down by 1, go in by 1 for front bodice. So once you're able to achieve this now, you can go ahead to cut out the pattern. So this is what the front body is going to be looking like. So by the time you fold it in like this extension here is what is going back to the back neckline. So you have this, then also we're going to be separating the collar. So with the front pattern and the back pattern ready now, we can go ahead and cut it out on our fabric. So I've cut out the patterns on the fabric. So for the back now, this side is unfolded since there's not going to be any zip or anything at the back. So for this other side now, for the neck, the shoulder, the armhole, I added 0.5 for allowance. For the side, I'm using 1 inch for the side seam allowance, and for the hem, I added 1.5. Also for the front now, for the down, I added 1.5. The side, I added 1, and for this front joining and all of this, I added 0.5 as our allowance. So now we'll be taking you through the step-by-step process on how to sew the piece together. So let's start with the front bodice. So now if we want to cut out the facing for the front. If I mark it on my fabric, you will not be seeing it, so I will just go ahead and mark it on. So since we are not using the pattern paper again, so what I'm going to be marking on the fabric, I will do the same thing, then I will cut it out to cut out the facing. So from this down part now on your pattern paper or your fabric, you just mark out 4 inches. From your center, you mark out 4 inches. Now this 4 inches included the allowance we've added on the pattern, on the fabric. But because I'm using the pattern, so I'm just marking it out straight. So you come to your neckline here, you are going to be marking 2 inches, then you connect all the lines together. Okay, so this is what I have now. I'll go ahead and cut it out and I'll transfer it to a fabric. So using this one to cut out the fabric that we're using for the facing. Okay, so the pattern I cut out from the front, this is what I used it to cut. So I've cut these 2 pieces together out and I've interfaced it with a soft stay. So now please, this is something I did not remember to say when I was cutting it out. Don't forget that by the time when we cut this one out, we've added 1.5 allowance for the hem and also 0.5 for the shoulder. When you are cutting this one out using the pattern paper, don't forget to add the other allowances. You see now that is short, so please add the 1.5 allowance and the 0.5 for the shoulder allowance. So this will make it to be equal by the time you place it on the fabric. So you are going to place it on the fabric like this, right side facing right side, then you are going to be stitching it. So from this neck here, you will be stitching it down to the hem. You do the same thing for this other side too. Okay, so after turning in this part here, so this is what I have. So you're just going to weave this one. You do the interlocking to secure the edges for this side. So this is what it looks like. See, we have not even put the other color, and the front part is looking so nice already. So now I haven't done that. Now the next we'll be doing is we'll be joining our back to the main bodice. So this is the back now. You make our back bodice to be front right side facing the right side of the fabric. So you just stitch the back neck. So we are not stitching this one. You see that I left this one aside. We are not stitching this yet. So it's only the shoulder of the front and the back that we are stitching. So you stitch it by 0.5 inch allowance that we had it. So after you're done stitching it, I cut out the sleeve using a basic sleeve pattern to cut the sleeve. So you're going to notch these parts here. All right, so I've joined the shoulder of the front and the back. I've joined them together. So next we are going to be doing now is fixing the sleeve. So I cut out the sleeve using a basic sleeve pattern. So once you have your sleeve like this, I've rolled the edges of the sleeve. So you're going to notch the center of the sleeve. When I'm making shirts, I love to use this method of fixing the sleeve. It's quite easy and straightforward. So you come to your armhole like this. This is the back, this is the front. So this is the joining on the shoulder. So you make sure that the right side of the sleeve is facing the right side of the fabric. So this notch part is going to be on the center of the shoulder joining. So you are going to pick it from this side. You are going to sew it straight round to the other side. So once you are done joining it for this both sides now, you are going to flip this one together, right side facing right side. Then you join the sides together. Don't forget I added this 1 inch as my side joining. So just going to mark out the 1 inch and join it together after fixing the sleeve. All right, so this is the front of the bodice now. I've stitched the sleeve and also I've joined the side together. So this is what is looking at. So next thing we are going to be doing now is stitching of our collar. So this is the collar. This is the pattern I used, we cut out from our bodies. So this is the one I used to cut out the pattern, to cut out the fabric. So this is, I cut out two. One will serve as the lining and one will serve as the main body. So I interface a gum stay on one part of the collar. So you're going to be sewing the collar from this side here by 0.5 inch allowance I added all around. So you're going to sew it to this point. You will notch it, turn and bring it back. Okay, so after turning the collar, this is what I have like this. So fold the collar into two to get the center of the collar. So I notch the center like this, and also the center of the shirt at the back, I also notched it. So now you're going to bring your collar. Now it's time to fix the collar. You're going to bring the side that does not have the stay. You're going to make sure the notch area is together like this. You put the notch area together. So you are going to stitch it by 0.5 inches to this place where this first joining, where it stopped. So you notice that it's still remaining like 1 inch. That's the 1 inch we left out. So that 1 inch you're not going to sew it. So you do the same thing also on this side, and I'll bring it back to explain it. Okay, so I've stitched down this side of the collar now. So to finish the other side of the collar, you make sure that your collar is relaxed. Then you're going to be folding in your 0.5 allowance that you added to cover the stitch line here like this. So you fold this to this other side of the collar like this. So when you just go and stitch it, just stitch it down on your sewing machine like this, then we'll proceed. All right, so I've sewn this side of the collar, I've sewn it down. So that's what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to notch this part like this so that the neck will be able to relax very well. So now to stitch this upper part here, we are going to be using the shoulder line as the guideline. So on the shoulder line now, the parts of the collar that falls on the shoulder line, so we're going to notch it like so, and you do the same thing for this other side too. So the parts you notch now, you are going to be placing it on each other. So you fold in this part now from this shoulder line to the shoulder line. So you fold in 1/2 inch that will be covering the rough edges here. so you have something that will cover the rough edges here. So you sew from this shoulder line to this other shoulder line, so you just stop stitch on this neck area like this. Okay, so I've stitched this part down now. So after you've done that, the next thing you are going to do for the collar is you are going to turn this place here that we've turned in, you are going to turn it to the wrong side. Then you place it like this. So the collar is going to come to where we stop the joining of the stitching of this one. So we are going to place it like this, and you use this extra one that we have on top the facing. You are going to stitch it to the shoulder line. This is the collar now. So you bring the collar, the edge of the collar, to the edge where we stop sewing here. So you place it together like this. Then you use the facing to turn it. So you are going to stitch 0.5 inch to the shoulder line where you stop the top stitching. So you are going to stitch it down to this place. Then also the other side, also you do the same thing for the other side. So you flip it like this, then you stitch it to the shoulder line. Alright, so I've used this facing now to finish the collar area. So just when you are done doing that, make sure you notch the seam line so that it will relax very well. So that this other part that is just like this now, what you are going to do is you just fold it in a little bit, maybe like 0.25. You just fold it in a little bit now. Then you put it on the shoulder line. You put it on the shoulder line, then you stitch it together. So you put this on the shoulder line, then you stitch it together. You roll the other side too, put it on the shoulder line, and you just stitch it there on the shoulder line. So that is going to hold it in place. So once you are done with that now, it remains the hemline now. To finish the hemline, so you are going to be stitching this one like this with the allowance you added. We added 1.5 allowance, so you are going to be stitching it down by 1.5 just to this place. Then you turn it over. You do the same thing for the other side, then you turn it over. So I will do that and bring it back. Alright, so for this plate now, I have turned this part in now. So you're just going to trim it a little bit like so it's not bulky inside. Then you turn it to the right side. You do the same thing for the other side. So to finish the other part now, you are just going to roll your hem twice. So you just roll it twice to have a good finishing. So this part now is secured. Then you are going to sew it round to this other part also. Alright, so I've stitched the down part, the hemline now, so it's looking all clean already. So now we are done with the sewing of this shirt with the Revere collar. So now that we are done, now the last thing to do here is just to fix the button and the buttonhole, but I don't have a buttonhole machine, so I'm just going to take it out to fix the buttonhole. So if you want to fix your buttonhole now, you are going to just mark out from this collar you folded here, you step down by 0.5 inch. Then from there, the spaces between the button will be 3.5. So you just mark it down to where you want your button to get to. So for this one now, you'll be needing like 4 to 5 buttons. So from there, you just fix your buttons, you do your buttonhole, and your shirts will be ready. So thank you for joining us in our tutorial today. I hope you like and you enjoyed it. So we'll see you in the next tutorial.